ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate in a lack of sleep Final Fantasy podcast. I'm Joe.
I'm Caleb.
And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are only tired and not hungover. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yesterday we would have been both.
Yeah. Yeah, we both had
from different instances of drinking, which surprising, mostly coming from you, but I mean, I've drank maybe like once a month for the last 6 months. So the stars aligned, and Joe and I both drank a ton of beer, I would assume.
You know what? I had 5 beers. What I assumed... Sorry, you said assumed, now I say assumed. But actually what I meant to say is the reason I went drinking was that opportunity knocked. And my dear Canadian roommate, he's going back home because he had a death in the family. And we're not sure if we'll see him again. Hopefully we do. But it felt like, like a last hurrah. And he's always inviting me to the parties, and I can almost never go because I'm the only one here who has to work. And
the only one in the whole state who has to work, mind you.
And so I went, and I had a good time, and I drank quite a bit. And it wasn't so much the drinking that I wasn't ready for the next morning to record UFF at our regular time. It was that I stayed up till like 5:30 a.m. and that's a difficult one. Although I had just about as much sleep today for other reasons, but it's all right. We're gonna get through this.
Yeah,
we're gonna have a damn good time. We're gonna give our awards away, including Audience Maximus, and we're gonna enjoy our last UFF Podcast Awards.
Hell yeah. My, I guess Saturday, I didn't stay up that late. I stayed up till like 3 a.m. But we went to Strap Tank, which is a local brewery here in Springville, Utah, just south of where I live. And it wasn't that great, but eventually the service got a little bit better, and I was able to get buzzed before I left. And then on the way home, I was like, you know what? I kind of want to buy some more beer. And so I did, because it's never enough for me. It's always like, well, I mean, I can still walk. And then after I can't walk anymore, it's like, well, I mean, I'm only half blind in my left eye. Who needs a left eye? Then I just keep going, but... I think I had like 6 Pabst because it was 3 double cans, and then maybe another 3 beers worth. It sucked though because we had samplers, which was a terrible idea because we would get like a round of samplers every like 20 minutes, and we tried all the samplers, so it was 6 rounds. So it took for fucking ever, and then we finally settled on. Most of us got the beer called the Dan, which was the least gross IPA tasting one they had. Even though they all kind of had that IPA, like, hoppy, disgusting flavor at the tail end. And it was like, God, these aren't even the fucking different beers. They're all just like, here's this rendition of gross. Here's this version of nasty. But yeah, got nice and buzzed. But unfortunately for me, though, by the time I went to sleep at 3, I was totally sober again.
Unfortunately for you. Oh, you only went to sleep at 3? Shit, we could have recorded at a normal time, I guess. Although...
We could have. Here's the thing, though. Even though I just gave you shit earlier about it, I had my alarm set for my normal time, which is like 10, 11. Super unhealthy. I mean, that's a normal time for like when I go to work at 2. Not when I go to work like today at 6:30 at night. It's not okay. Not a healthy time to wake up. But... I woke up and I just like reset my alarm once, and then for some reason I must have just turned it off before I noticed, and then I looked down and it's like 12:15, and I'm like, no, still way too tired. So I slept until like 40 minutes till I had to be to work.
Oh wow.
So I got like 10 and a half hours of sleep.
God, dude. Well, I'm glad I wasn't there that morning because I would have been real pissed off, I guess. So I would have.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I would have done it if you would have said, "Hey, let's record on a different day."
Okay.
I could have, because I have before where I just don't fucking wake up.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it happens. That thing.
I know. It was hot. It was hot potato. That's like, hot potatoing the I didn't wake up to record potato.
But I only done that
Which,
once.
of course. Yeah, well, I think we both only done it once. But I think, and now, of course, you have eaten that potato, so we can't pass it back and forth for sustenance.
That's a good reference to what people don't know. That's good shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Those are my favorite inside jokes that no one can understand because we haven't acknowledged them.
On a big, huge
especially when
podcast.
you go off about, especially when we go on about how we don't acknowledge it without acknowledging it still.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so all I'm eating is potatoes right now because I literally can't afford anything else. Although one of my coworkers had a family emergency thing, and I got his hours, so I actually worked a full 40 hours. So my financial troubles will be temporarily relieved in just a couple days when I get paid, which will be very nice.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, are you? Is there a thing of coffee going right now on your end? Because I'm just hearing like.
Oh, there is.
Jesus.
There is. I got a coffee mic set up too. Whenever Craig isn't here, I grab I take his little pink poof off, and I just slap that mic right next to the coffee maker.
Jesus Christ, that's all I'm hearing right now. It's like.
It's beautiful.
That's all I'm hearing, man. It's freaking me out. All right.
It's too bad we don't have Final Fantasy coffee to enjoy.
Yeah, it's too bad. It'd be like a Dark Cloud or something.
Yeah. Wheelchair Cloud. It's like really weird tasting and not right.
Wheelchair Cloud.
Not right in the
yeah,
head.
that's not a good name for a coffee.
when your coffee maker makes it makes that annoying ass squeaking sound that happens when he's in the wheelchair.
Jesus. All right. Where are you in Final Fantasy 15 Comrades?
I'm glad you asked.
So I currently have looked at it twice.
You fuck.
It's downloaded. It's ready to play. I've scrolled over to it. I looked at the artwork and I was like, nah, I don't think I want to play this right now. And then I scrolled back over to Resident Evil 2 and launched it up. So I've got it downloaded. I didn't have to buy it because I bought the season pass to Final Fantasy 15 eons ago now, it seems. And we gave one of those away on the forums, and I gave the guy the thing, but he never confirmed whether or not he actually used it. So, like, and that was the old forums, I believe. Maybe not. I can't remember, but it's we might have another season pass hanging out.
Well, it doesn't matter
because we had that. Point. It doesn't. We had that competition where it was like guess our rankings, and I think this guy was like one off for one of us.
Okay,
so it was super impressive. But yeah, I thought about starting it.
Nice.
I mean, we're making good progress because before I hadn't thought about starting it. It wasn't even a thing that I had thought of. Like I thought that I should start that, but not like I'm gonna start that at some point. It was just like in the distant future, I would like to start and finish this game. What about you? Where are you
let me tell you, I've brought power to all of Evil East. Not all of it, but and then I got to get some sigils. There's 7 sigils I need to get next. I don't actually know when this game fucking ends, but I've got 4 out of the 7 sigils. And I could really use someone who has better stats than the AI to help me out. Unfortunately, the Lucius server, which is the server I'm on, please don't forget that twice. Lucius server.
Okay.
It's just not that busy. So every time I try to party up. So far, I've only successfully partied up like twice. But I'm on these other like ancillary fights, and no one's coming in. And I'm not even sure if like I need to get the 7 sigils or if there's a single quest that I'm supposed to go on right now that's like a point of no return thing. Like it was a little confusing because I had to leave the point of no return-ish feeling quest thing. And then when I got back into the game, it just said how many sigils I had left. So I think it might be part of the same thing, but I think it might not be. So it's very confusing. And I could use someone who catches up to me. So feel free. Feel free to catch up to where I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, if you want to. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
I can't find any information on the servers online as far as, like, how many people are on it. You know, you can look at FF11 servers and stuff.
Yeah, that's because they released that info. Oh, and, like, other people have, like, figured out apps and shit to do that, but...
Yeah, I think it's more other people care.
Yeah.
And no one cares for this. I'm honestly confused why they did a standalone release for it.
See if they can make a few bucks?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I maybe they looked up our criteria. I mean, that has been their thing lately.
Maybe.
You know, like get Ultima Final Fantasy to review our games, or get games that Ultima Final Fantasy is going to review very soon, remastered onto new consoles.
Of course. Yeah.
So maybe this time they actually got it right and did it before we got to it. But of course, by them doing it, that was the only reason why we would have ever gotten to it, right? Because we wouldn't have done it if it was a DLC.
Of course.
But it's ascended into a separately released game that no one plays instead of a DLC that no one plays.
Jesus. Yeah, man. I don't know. I've got like 15 hours into it, maybe more. So I'm excited for you to hurry the fuck up and catch up to me. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I'll get there.
Hey,
there.
we're doing this for you, Schweiss. We're doing this for you and your sanity. Oh.
Yeah. So on PlayStation profiles, it's got 559 owners of the game, with 18 of them being recent players.
Okay.
So it's not very many people. And that's not even... I mean, who knows what server they're on, also.
Right.
How many server options were
I
there?
can't even remember that part.
Okay.
I can't.
It's all in the past now.
Oh, it's all a blur, dude. There's something about this podcast. My memory gets purged every time I like talk about things. But also, like, there is things like that where I'm just like, I don't fucking remember that shit. I do remember the character creation. It's pretty detailed. But I don't remember when I chose the server. I just remember what I chose.
All right.
Yeah, man.
All right, there are almost as many players for Monster of the Deep total of owners, but no one has played it recently.
Wow. No one's played Monster of the Deep recently.
Yeah, well, I think it says one person. One person is a recent player, and I think that's the last.
One person's really fishing it up, bro.
Yeah, they've got their case of Paps next to them, and they're like, all right, let's play. Let's fish.
Oh, Jesus. Well, let us... We got some pieces of news here, Schweiss. Let's dive right in. Might as well just get this thing started. Okay, so first up in news, Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omni, Crystal Awakenings. There's a bunch of updates to the game, which apparently change a lot of things about how the game works and makes it better, according to Silicon Era. So have fun with those who have that game. I don't. I'm good.
Yeah. Where's our patch to make the Cydia NT better? How about that?
I haven't tried it yet, man. I'm scared. We're only 2 games away from that, by the way.
You should be very afraid. Wait, what's in between them?
It's just a Cydia 012.
Shit. I gotta get a PSP again, man.
It goes where it's on Comrades, which is what we're on. Then it's Dude Kime. And then it's Dissidia NT.
Damn.
Yeah, dude. Cloud Strife.
I was kind of hoping it was Theater Rhythm first.
I think it's based on release date. Whenever we go to a new
it'd totally
thing.
be.
So Dissidia is older than Curtain Call.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Final Fantasy VII's Cloud Strife is getting a new arts figure for Kingdom Hearts in July of this year. He's got a single wing. His Buster Sword is all taped up because I guess it's broken. I don't know. He's taped it up like I've taped up my shoes. Never really understood.
That duct tape is great, man.
Yeah, duct tape is terrible, actually. It never works. Like, you start with the duct tape on the shoe, and by, 3 hours into you using a shoe, it's already given up. The duct tape can't handle it anymore. Anybody else poor out there? Anybody?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all based on Tetsuya Nomura's illustration, and looks like a very detailed arts figure, but that's what we got there.
Very nice.
Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD remasters. First off, and Final Fantasy 12 as well. They are getting physical releases in Europe. And I think this is for the Xbox and Switch versions of the game, right? And
I believe so. Yeah, they're coming out there.
Yeah, and so those will be out there, and those games their release dates were revealed. I believe it was, let's see. Final Fantasy X and X-2 Remaster will launch on the 16th of April for those consoles. Final Fantasy XII will release on the 30th of April. So those people who didn't buy PlayStations, who switched their masters through the generations, the last 2 generations of consoles, they get the opportunity to play those games.
Very nice. Yeah, you got I think it'd be fun to play it on the Switch. I kind of like the Switch. I know you didn't get to really play around with it much, but it's just like a portable, lesser PS4.
Nice.
It's... I know that's not a good seller, but it's enjoyable.
A portable, lesser PS4?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what it does have? You know what it has, Schweiss?
What's that?
It has Skyrim.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. PS4 doesn't have Skyrim.
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't have Skyrim. It even has It's going to have Final Fantasy X and X-2 now. Because when it comes to brand new, awesome, top of the line consoles, what we want is the old games re-released on those consoles as the selling point of the console itself.
Yeah. That's the launch title. Skyrim. Your consoles, it's like having a Walmart in your town. You don't live in a real town unless it has a Walmart, right?
Right.
Instead, it's like your console's not a real console unless Skyrim is its launch title.
Jesus. So it's like the PS2 was backwards compatible. Now imagine if what they sold the PS2 with at the time was like, if it was the original Gran Turismo.
Yeah, oh man, I was just about to say Gran Turismo 2. That's funny. Yeah, it's like, wow, this looks like shit.
Whoa.
Thanks, Sony.
Whoa, actually, let's make it even better. See, now I have to think of a big hit on the N64. That wasn't...
Like Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, Banjo-Kazooie. Okay, so fucking like the PS2 trailer launch comes out. Everybody's like, you know, everybody's skipping through the streets or whatever, some bullshit. And, because really what gamers look like is just like a dude with some like potato chips next to him. But let's all make it look like this is some big social event. And then everybody, they got your PS2 working, and like the first thing we see for game footage wise is fucking a Super NES title or an N64 title like Banjo-Kazooie just for the PS2. It's like, ooh, look at this awesome new thing.
I think half of our audience would probably have loved it, honestly. And I know Dylan would have. Our friend Dylan. He'd be like, oh my god, Banjo-Kazooie?
On the PS2? Dude. It's just someone...
Yeah.
I still hate it. I still hate that that was their thing to sell the Switch. Or like, one of the biggest things people were freaking the fuck out about. It's like, it's going to have this game that's easy to get a hold of on any other system. Skyrim.
Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, it's a good game, but damn. I'm not going to buy another console and then buy that. And I know people that have done that, too. Like, one of the guys at work has played Skyrim like 4 times on different consoles, and that's his most played Switch game. And I'm like, God, dude, like... I mean, it's probably the longest game that he could have played. He's not like a hardcore RPG guy, so... Skyrim's pretty approachable, but I'm just like, God, you have like 100 plus hours here, 100 plus hours on your Xbox, 100 plus hours on your 360. It's like, fucking, hey, don't you ever just get bored of like doing the same thing, you know?
It's like, just pick one. Just pick a system.
Yeah. Pick the Xbox One, I would say, because every generation just gets easier to use, you know. And I'm to the point now where like I've got copies of older games. Like, I want to go through the Resident Evil games this year, and I'm like, I don't want to play Resident Evil 2 on PS2, or 4 on PS2. I just don't. Like, there's a PS4 version of the game. It's going to be a lot easier to manage. It's going to look better. The loading times are going to be lightning fast. Like, there's just no need, you know? It's just no need to go back there.
So you're saying you do, in fact, empathize with him? Get it.
In a way, yeah. Like, I get it, but, like, the Switch, I mean, it has, like, a 5-hour battery life, man. If you don't have that shit plugged in, you're not going to be Skyrimming for very long.
Skyrimming. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that as a verb. That's good shit. Forget what I'm saying. Okay, Final Fantasy 15. Episode art and prologue anime short. When is that gonna fucking release? It says it's releasing in February. There's a new 55-second clip. We don't have time to watch it, but we will instead just watch the short when it comes out. I say we don't have time, but you know, we're recording this in a weird way, and it's the reaction video. It's just not gonna work now. It's just not.
Yeah, it'd be funky.
Yeah, it is funky, unless I like had a computer in front of me. But alas, it was taken from me. So I'm just on my phone here, and everything is being used on the phone. It's just not gonna happen, guys. But anyway, yeah, get excited for that. And last but certainly not least, Final Fantasy digital card game has been announced for PC and smartphones in 2019. So, a big competitive digital card game, kind of based on the Dragon Quest Rivals thing. You make your own deck consisting of various characters from the Final Fantasy series, as well as a bunch of summons, pixel art form. There will be a closed beta test that will take place from January 18th to January 25th. It's being hosted by Yahoo Japan. I don't know. It says it's going to be released in Japan in 2019. It doesn't say if it's going to be released in, where we're from, North America. But yeah, just to keep the card games going. It doesn't look like triple triad. It looks a lot more complicated than that, looking at the screenshot here.
Well, that's probably good.
Yeah. But anyway, another real quick cash grab for Square Enix.
Yeah, that is in fact their specialty.
Available soon.
I kind of wish we would have gotten that physical trading card game thing that we thought about doing a few years back, but
it's still out.
Kind of forgot about.
It's still around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, now it would be like those sad days when Craig and I would play Magic with our fucking webcams pointing down at the table.
No, yeah. The heart.
That was
the loneliness of Ephraim to Provo. Like, I don't even. How do I say that? The heart yearns, man. You yearn for each other.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to play Magic cards with your webcams pointed at the table.
Yeah, get mad at Craig and tell him you're not going to play with him if he uses his one card that's unkillable. That's fucking bullshit.
Isn't that everything in Magic?
No, this guy was like hex-proof, had a ton of defense, so you couldn't just like wallop him with attacks, had like major attack, and he wasn't that expensive to call out either, and I was really pissed off at him.
Okay.
I was like, that's fucking nonsense. I can't even kill him with like a trap card or whatever right after he comes. It's just, nope, can't do that.
Trap card, monster card, sync card, like, it's just all make it Yu-Gi-Oh! Someone's freaking the fuck out right now.
Yeah, well, it's like the counter spell or whatever. You can't do shit to him. It's annoying.
Yeah.
I was pissed. So fuck that. We're not going to do that because you're going to have some bullshit rare card that I'm going to get really mad at.
Well, Schweiss, I think it's time for our awards. So let us dive right into that.
All right, so we have our results. We have had our results in for some time, but we just haven't gone back to them quite yet for our 2018 UFF Podcast Awards. All right, so least important, I think we can all agree here, we have the worst episode of Ultima Final Fantasy for the year. Now, how does one make a bad episode of Ultima Final Fantasy? That's a trick question. You don't. But you do make ones that are slightly below what you would deem as average episodes of Ultima Final Fantasy, which is, of course, miles ahead of other European Union dodging Final Fantasy podcasts. But
yes, of course. Hashtag Brexit.
That's right, yeah. I don't blame you, because, I mean, come on. But anyway, 2 nominees. We decided to trim it down this year. I mean, it was so hard to choose between such a great lineup of podcasts. You know, we decided, we landed on This Year in Square Enix 2003 and the Distant Worlds music episodes, both for sound quality / audio issues, which, of course, rare these days, and when they do happen, they are very blatant and offensive to the ear holes. And with 59% of the vote, Distant Worlds music takes the cake as the worst episode of 2018.
Oh. Schweiss, now, I was so proud to be nominated in both categories this year. These were both my episodes. Now, Distant Worlds music is a special one, because it was the first one where we were both recording on separate Zoom H1 microphones. This episode, by the way, brought to you by Zoom. Turns out, by the way, Zoom, a Japanese company, assembled in China, though. And the design I'm using is copyright 2015. Zoom, all rights reserved. And just to let you know, the micro SD and micro SDHC logos are trademarked, and all trademarks are registered trademarks and registered trademarks are property of their respective holders. You know, the world needs creators, people willing to contribute something original, inspiring, and powerful. And so that's why we use the Zoom H1 handy recorder. The features include the XY mic design capturing perfect stereo images, assuming both of your mics work, which Schweiss's do not.
Perfect stereo.
Yeah, perfect mono on one side. So Joe has to pan one of his channels all the way over so that they have the same amount of noise.
Yes.
There's also that Zoom is really old, but and has lasted like a few years, though, to be fair to Schweiss.
Yeah, it's recorded a lot of hours of podcast.
Yeah. There is a low-cut filter and audio level controls, USB microphone function. I don't know what that function is, though. Records on micro SDHC cards up to 32 gigabits and has 10 hours of operation on one AA battery. And the package includes, by the way, an H1 handy recorder, a micro SD card, and one AA battery as well. So anyway, that's the end of our sponsorship.
Zoom H1. Yeah. Everyone loves a handy.
Brilliant stereo recording now in your pocket. In case you're wondering, I do have the box right in front of me as I was talking about the recorder.
That's good. I was hoping you didn't have it memorized.
Yeah. So here's the deal. One of the Zoom functions is an auto level function, and it was switched on. That's all that happened. And so every time I would go quiet on my end, the microphone would be searching for the sound again, and it would just keep upping its volume until it found my breathing. And and then every time I would talk, the microphone levels would be so high that it would clip for the first couple seconds of me talking. So, and before it auto leveled back down to a normal level. So, in case you're wondering what was happening there, that's what was happening. Thank you, Zoom H1. And by the way, guys, you're welcome. I mean, you get so much of my nasty, mouth stuff. All of that is already in these episodes enough, but the Zoom H1 really brought it to the forefront and made Distant Worlds, our first Distant Worlds episode, the worst episode of UFF Podcast in 2018.
Of course, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So
it was a lot, and it sucked because there was no real recovering from the recording because your base file is just fucked at that point. So too bad.
That's what happened. I just did it again.
Yeah, you did. This will be the worst episode of 2019, right?
That's right. Which category do you want to do next?
So I think the next least important one. I mean, like we said before. I mean, there's such great episodes that we put out on a regular basis. I mean, this category, I say we do best episode of UFF Podcast next. We decided to just drop it on 4 of our extra stellar options for the year. I mean, like I said, we put out 50 to 52 episodes a year. So, I mean, choosing between which of those 50-plus gems will be the best was pretty difficult. We called upon the audience to recount their favorite ones. We remember our favorite big reviews. And the nominees this time around were Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, Vagrant Story Parts 1 and 2, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles The Crystal Bearers, and Final Fantalica. The winner by a fairly large margin, Vagrant Stories Part 1 and 2, with 47% of the vote. That was a pretty fun review.
Yeah, good review. Great song by Metallica.
Yeah.
Covered by yours truly.
I'm surprised that got the win, though, because I remember some people bitching about the song. But
who bitched about the song?
I remember, maybe I'm turning into Craig here. It was just one person that complained. I remember them complaining about the Tactics song ruining a Tactics review, and I was like, no, come on. Sure, it's 7 to 8 minutes long, but I mean, you could skip it if you really wanted to.
And you know what? It got 47% of the vote. It was clearly the winner.
Yeah.
In this of this year. Schweiss, I think that's your episode, by the way.
I think you're right. Yeah, it was. So I mean, it's what can I say? It's one of those things. We put these processes in place back in the early days of the show with Final Fantasy IV, and it works. We dive deep into the story and the story that we didn't get from the game, and talk about the gameplay that we totally got from the game. We got fucking pistol whipped by the game's gameplay in so many ways, especially for me, having to find those zombie or those fucking beat 'em up dolls, those practice dummies. Tell you what, though, I remember after I went and hammered at the one for a while, I was so good with that weapon that it was killing stuff like that it wasn't weak to. Like, it was such a godly weapon now that, like, it was like, you're a dragon? Doesn't matter. You're still gonna die.
Except for the final boss, which you had to use a bunch of fucking all those special moves on. I can't even remember what those moves were called.
The Phantom Pain stuff?
Phantom Pain.
I think
Phantom Pain's the one I used. You didn't use Phantom Pain.
Yeah, I think mine was something similar, though. Man, that weapon system is so cool. And, like, we didn't understand it until it was almost over. You had to deep dive and find some forum shaming to figure out what the hell was happening. And then it's like, wow, every time you do a certain action, it'll, like, permanently increase the weapon's stats based on how you used it. Like, that's pretty fucking cool.
I really like those episodes. We're both at the top of our complaining game, so that's all good there. Final Metallica was second place, by the way. So I'm pretty proud of that. FF Tactics Advance, third place, and then Crystal Bears. Vagrant Story Part 1 and 2, it's one for the books, man. Those are two great halves of a great episode. So.
Two great halves of a greater whole.
That's right.
It was a lot of fun, and that's a really fun game. Like, I miss playing that game now that it's brutalized me and I have moved on and understand the game. I kind of want to go back to it. It's one of those, like, lightning returns where it's like there's almost no reason to go back, but it was just such fun to play. And now that I understand Vagrant Story, it's even more, like, alluring to me. It calls me.
I in no way understand what you're trying. Like, no. I would New Game Plus it, maybe. But I ain't fucking fighting that boss again, because apparently that boss is always a dick on the first playthrough. Like, there's no way for you to get your stats high enough to make that boss easy.
Oh, okay. But New Game Plus, he's really easy.
Yeah, but New Game Plus, your stats can go past whatever, like, the cap is.
Oh. See, Dark Souls does this thing.
We talked about it on the episode. But
yeah, Dark Souls does this thing where, you start New Game Plus, but you basically, everyone starts at the same level as you, so it's just like starting a brand new game. Only you're better at playing the game, even if you're not better at dealing damage to people. So, like, if you were super over-leveled in the first area and you start a new game, like in Bloodborne especially, you will now be back to three-shotting the villagers instead of going through and, like, looking at them with a slight sneer on your face and them just exploding into tiny chunks. You now have to kill them all over again. So when I hear New Game Plus, that's what I automatically think of. It's like, oh, God, it's going to be worse. It's going to be worse, especially if you weren't very good the first time around. But,
no other gaming series is like that, though. So.
Yeah, pretty much everyone else is like, yeah, you want to destroy our game? Go ahead. Here you are. Here's all your shit. Here's all your stats. Everything else is still weak. Go have fun.
All right, what do you think is the next category? Do you think it's rant? Best rant?
Yeah, I mean, I would go with best rant. So, the best rant nominees, great rants, some fantastic rants on the show this year.
Fantastic rants.
No one believes, no one has as good rants as us. But Joe and I settled on two of our favorites. from each other. We got Joe's glitching vagrants rant. That's the one involving Joe's inability to, I guess, see in this one room. For some reason, the camera was always jacked up. And he went on at length about this glitch that wasn't actually happening. So, I mean, some would disqualify the rant. I mean, I guess it's still a rant. Even if at the end you just look like an asshole.
I look like a fucking idiot if you listen to all the episodes. I'm not an idiot, though, man. The fucking screen is completely black.
It's funny because you said there was one other person online that had the same thing. And I bet you it was the same exact thing. Because you were like, someone else out there. I saw it. Someone else had it.
Oh, fuck. That's right. Someone else did have that.
So there's another man out there in this world that's just like Joe, and he's super jaded about vagrant stories. Like, fucking dark room, developing some photographs in there with some bats. Can't see shit. Can't beat the game.
Jeez.
Good rant. Steeped in a mistake, but fantastic nonetheless. And then, of course, the shitty controls rant that I had on Crystal Chronicles, the Crystal Bearers, where I lost my shit when I found out you didn't actually have to do the fucking volleyball part in that game, which was abysmal, man. It was so bad. And it's the evil part about it was, like, you can't... Joe said, I just skipped it. And, like, the thing is when you die, it's like, you want to continue? Yes or no? And it's like, if you press no, it's a game over and you load your game back up, which I was like, I'm not loading my game back up to play this fucking volleyball game. Like, let's just keep doing
the bikini sumo balance game.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. Fuck, dude. It's so bad because, like, the thing is to knock the other chick off her fucking giant floating cracker, you gotta grab her with you gotta aim the little aimer thing at her, grab the cracker, and then you have to jerk it really hard. But the thing is it would only work half the time when I would jerk it really hard off screen, and then after that I would have to spend the next 10 seconds trying to find my goddamn aimer on the screen again to then avoid getting hit. And it was it was just so fucking bad, dude. I was getting so mad. And that was one of those moments where I'm like, am I making this worse because I procrastinate and play it all in one go? And the answer is no. It's just terrible. Fuck, man. But a clear and present winner here. Glitching Vagrants from Joe.
Yes.
Give us your speech.
Thank you. Sometimes life hands you opportunities for growth. Okay. Sometimes you're given challenges. One of those challenges is that you think that your PlayStation 1, that there's something wrong with your PlayStation 1 disc. And then you have to go and find multiple versions of the game throughout power outages happening in your small town up until you finally get the game, play through it, and then find another glitch on the system, and only then accidentally, as a fluke, turn the camera and then see later on that what you were bitching about before didn't matter, but that the bitching took place is what was important, and that's what this award is about. So I bitched and I moaned and I had real problems with just starting this fucking game. And I think one of them was legit, but the black room was not. And so, in the end, what matters, Twice, is that we take those opportunities and we use them and we move on with our lives. And also global warming. Thank you. Take it away.
Yeah, I was gonna say you gotta fucking make this one about the Native Americans, what's his name, the guy from Godfather. I was watching
Marlon Brando,
his speech, and I was like, wow, that took a turn. Because for a while I was like, man, these Oscars are so ridiculous nowadays, and then I look at Marlon Brando's and I'm like, nah, never mind, it's always been the same. People were pissed about that too back in the day, and I'm like, geez, it's totally different.
Yeah, last year was such a good year for movies, but like 2 movies, one of which is pretty good, the other one is definitely not that great, got nominated for Best Picture this year, and I'm just like, why did Bohemian Rhapsody get nominated for Best Picture?
I know. It's like it's just like you said. Like the first half is pretty boring. It's a 3-star movie to me. That's it. Like
the second half is really good, but like the first half is, I don't know, man. Like even like I can understand Black Panther getting nominated, even though. By the way, for those who are like saying it was nominated because it was the black movie this year, there are 2 way better movies that are black movies that were not nominated. Widows and If Beale Street Could Talk were not nominated for Best Picture, and that is a travesty because both of those movies are excellent, and Black Panther is good, but really the loser here is.
Bohemian
is Bohemian Rhapsody, man.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I don't understand it. I mean, it's just an okay movie, and like sure it gets you on a Queen kick, but I mean you should already be kind of on a default Queen kick anyway. So I mean it doesn't even really do that. Like if you listen to good music, you'll throw on Fat Bottom Girls every so often and just belt it out. But
yeah, and I think they didn't even play that one, by the way, in that movie. I was waiting for Fat Bottom Girls the whole time.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, fuck, maybe it's a 2-star movie. You know what I mean? But I don't. Yeah, it's a weird one. I don't know. It's hard to like wrap my mind around. I mean, it's not like she slept with a fish man, and that one was a surprise to me. Other than the fact that it was his turn. You know, it was Del Toro's turn to get an Oscar for Best Picture. And that one was a pretty good movie, though. I walked out of that movie being like, that was actually really good. You know, out of Bohemian Rhapsody, I was like,
see it getting nominated, but you can't even see Bohemian Rhapsody getting nominated.
Yeah, I was like, when I read that, I was like, wait, am I in the right category? And I look up and it's Best Picture. I'm like, what? The fuck? It's like, that's like the midway movie of the year for me, and I only watched like 20 movies.
Like, it was a big hit, but it wasn't even like, I don't know, man. It's bizarre, but last year was so many good fucking movies. I'm guessing the vote was just split, and people who had not seen movies last year were the people who fucking voted on Bohemian Rhapsody.
The layman's.
Man, Star is Born, though. Oof, that's good shit. All the other movies are really good. Black Panther's the other weak one, but it's you know,
it's still pretty good.
It was like they were pushing it out here though, so they re-released it in theaters just a few weeks before the Oscar nominees were announced. So, I saw that happening, and I was going, "Are they trying to get a Best Picture nom?" Like I had that thought, and I think I talked about it in our little movie club thing that we have on Facebook. And then hey, they did. And they got it nominated. Yeah,
that's first time for them, and then also a Netflix one.
First time for a superhero movie. Yeah, Roma getting nominated, which is the only one I haven't seen. Just odd because it's the most available one. I just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it won't be that available for long though. I mean, Netflix apparently I heard they're cracking down on their IP addresses, so you can't be using the account from a different house. So I won't have Netflix pretty soon if that actually happens.
Oh shit! Well, I thought you could do 2 people at a time
in the same place, but like if Alex's mom is the one with the account and we're using it over here, I heard they're going to do something to stop that, so we can't use her Netflix. Which is understandable, and like the funny thing is that guys at work were like, "Why don't you just get your own account?" I'm like, "Dude, I've already got like Audible and Spotify Premium. Like that's like $20 a month. Like I don't want to have like subscription-based existence. You know, like I kind of want to not have a ton of subscriptions in my life. Like I've got that Amazon Prime. Like it's only $8 a month, but that shit adds up, man. When you got 7 other $8 a month things, you know."
Amazon Prime, for me, as a movie guy, has a better selection than Netflix does. So I would pick that over that.
Yeah.
But if I could afford them, I would just pay for Amazon Prime.
Yeah, the 2-day shipping by itself is worth it, but
yeah, that's true.
and I think that's gonna hurt Netflix quite a bit. But I mean, I don't think it'll hurt them that bad.
No, I mean it's their deal. Whatever. I can understand that businesses.
Yeah. The price hike is gonna hurt them probably more, but
yeah.
It's like, really, you're gonna hike it up, and the biggest thing you've ever made is Bird Box? Come on, what are we paying for?
I haven't seen Bird Box, but last night I came home and my roommate goes, "Have you seen Bird Box yet?" And I go, the way he said it was just threw me off. "Have you seen Bird Box yet?" I'm like, "No, not yet." He's like, "Well, we watched it." And I was like, "Yeah?" And he's like, "Yeah, it was really shit."
Yeah.
It sounded like he was about to praise the movie, and then he just he turned it around mid-sentence, and I was like, whoa, hold on.
I think it's okay. I've seen a couple other movies that are way better, that are very similar in style, and then it's also similar to The Happening, which I've heard is absolute garbage. So
The Happening is the bees, man. They're dying. All the bees. Bees are dying. It's Mark Wahlberg's worst performance by far. So if there's anything to watch The Happening for, it's to see the happening that is Mark Wahlberg being terrible. To be fair, he was. I mean, the script's no good. So the bees, they're dying. Everything's like a question for Mark Wahlberg. Oh my God!
He just doesn't understand
him as a teacher, as a science teacher. No,
this guy's teaching us? No, come on.
Oh jeez. All right. What the hell are we talking about? We're talking about Final Fantasy, right?
Yes. Yeah, Devolve from the Oscars joke.
Oh, okay.
So, second most important thing of the year. I don't know. Do you think the other podcast should be last? I think we've done that.
No, I think that's second most. I think we should do that.
Okay. So I mean, we all know. Humbly, we accept that we are the greatest Final Fantasy podcast in the history of mankind. There may be a couple beautiful, summer wench podcasts that you really hit it off with and you love, and you're
summer wench,
a summer fling. You might find one that you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. But you know how many of those other shows would use the phrase summer wench? None of them. Okay, that's because no one would use that.
Yes. Those summer wenches.
Yeah, those Randy summer wenches, Randy. You just gotta look the other way and look at the old Ultima, all sturdy and putting out reviews like it's going out of style. That's your winter wench right there, is Ultima Final Fantasy.
That's right. Your winter wench, always there when you need her.
Exactly. When you need some warmth, we're there.
That's right.
With our arguably much higher than needed fat percentages. So, the nominees for...
hold on. Can we announce that you weigh more than me now, and that now you're the fat host? Thank you. God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean...
I just want to do that now. So, I'm sure there's audio record of you calling me a fat fuck throughout these years. And now...
Well, I mean, you got me by 5 pounds.
The tables have turned.
From the neck up, I probably still look skinnier.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I don't really gain that much weight in the face. I mean, I do when I lose a bunch of weight, and I look super gaunt and edged and sculpted. My face, but... But
hey, something about a scooter's happening.
Yeah, Jace wants a Tudor scooter. That's what he calls the toaster strudels. It's pretty funny, the old Tudor scooter. I just imagine, propelling by flatulation, Get on my old tutor scooter.
Go ahead, Schweiss. Give him a tutor scooter.
Powered by beans.
Anyway. Yeah. Luckily, with my potato diet, I've now dropped. I've now dropped below, and Schweiss with his beer every weekend diet has.
Yeah, it hasn't worked out quite the way I expected it to. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Adam Carolla mentioned, like, if you do any one thing and stick to it, you should be fine. That's not true of the beer every weekend diet. I tried,
right.
And man, I have bloated up.
Yeah, a good amount of it probably is just bloat, by the way.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
You know, you keep telling yourself that, but then you just, like, when the bloat goes away, you're still a little bit higher each time. It's just like, well,
that's what weight gain is.
I mean, it's less than it was with the bloat, but I mean, it's still more than it was without the bloat a week ago. It's a small victory.
Oh my god. So I had, like, the most embarrassing moment this week ever in my exchange with a female interest in my life. And I'm not going to talk about it on here, but I will say that one of the things that happened was I tell her I have nothing to eat, basically, and all I'm eating is potatoes, and she goes, where are your sisters? And was like, my sister? Like, later, I just told her that, my sisters are in Utah, which is where I'm from. And then later, I was thinking about it, I'm like, what the fuck kind of question is that? So, as far as, like, Schweiss, where are your sisters? You should be getting taken care of here. You don't have to go and eat beer only.
Yeah, I feel like if I had my sisters take care of me, I would be even fatter, though. I don't think they're the ones. They're the key to me losing weight.
It's just like, well, this girl's Hispanic, so I'm wondering if there's like a Mexican, specifically Mexican, by the way, I'm not being racist. If there's if there's like a Mexican thing where, like, your sisters take care of you if you're starving. I don't know.
I could see it. It just seems weird, though, because, like, why wouldn't you say, where's your mom? Like, that would be the natural.
Yeah, why not? That's exactly right. In my head, I'm like, what is happening? Where are your sisters? I'm going to find out this girl's an orphan. I'm going to ask her today. Are you an orphan?
Yeah.
Do you,
that's great. That'll really improve your dialogue with her.
Oh, God. Yeah, it will totally improve my dialogue with her. To be fair, I mean, her accent is really thick. She speaks in a high voice, and she talks at a mile a minute. So I'm always about 5 seconds behind what she's actually saying, and my ability to process is already, like, deadened by the fact that I'm attracted to her. So it's like it's all going great. It's just going so smooth. But okay. Yeah, this is the category is the best non-UFF Final Fantasy podcast. Because we are the best, but we know there's at least 2 podcasts out there that deserve to be nominated for our final award show.
Yeah, I mean, we got Limit Break Radio, great Final Fantasy 14, Final Fantasy 11 companion show. Been around for years and years. Rebooted
Previous
when the
winner,
online games rebooted. Stayed with it. We've guessed
until now.
Yeah, until now. We've guested on there numerous times. They've guested on our show. We've had some great collabs over the years. Those are some of my favorite episodes too. The Remembering Final Fantasy 11. That was good. Mm. So we threw them a nom, and then also the No One Can Know About This podcast that is on fire with the UFF podcast audience. And, podcasts are one of those things where it's not like one or the other. It's all,
Yeah.
So when I see all my listeners, jumping ship for this other show, at first I'm like, God damn it, man. Like, why you guys got to betray us like that? And then I realized, no, they're listening to every Final Fantasy podcast ever. It's the thing. So, and I saw this so many times, and throughout the last, like, 7 or 8 months. Just a ton of people talking about this new show. Everyone seems to love it. It's got I think their format, from what one of the listeners was telling me, is they commentate as they play the games, or they record themselves playing the games, and then they also like commentate on their recording, which sounds nutso, but apparently it's really funny and a lot of fun to behold. So I mean, it's working out for them. So we gave them the second nominee.
Yeah. And the winner is Tutor Scooter.
Tutor Scooter, yeah.
I'm hearing lots of beeps and arguments. Tutor Scooter.
Yeah, the winner by a landslide. No one can know about this podcast. The new kids on the block. Great work, guys. I've heard a lot of good things. I don't listen to very many podcasts. I think it's because I am a binger, and then when I binge too much, I kind of stop. So I've moved. I haven't quite given it a chance yet, but the audience seems to love it. Congrats on the new show. I hope everything works out for you. Their tagline says a podcast where we play every Final Fantasy game. To that I say, we'll see. We'll see how far it goes.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, it's a lot, guys.
Especially if you do commentary on the games as you go along. Whew.
Yeah, that increases the time. I mean, we've taken forever to do this, but if we had to do that, it would be our whole life's work, basically, which is not the best for us anyway. But if they can handle it, I mean, that's great. And I kind of miss the days where we could play hanging out,
Yeah, dude. Come move to California. Be poor with me.
Yeah, that's okay.
You're good?
Yeah, I think I'm okay here.
All right. Anyway, yeah, congratulations. No one can know about this. I do want to say real quick to Limit Break Radio. Obviously, they've been nominated every year that we've done this, I think. And they've won. They won our first year.
Yes.
Great show. Recently kind of ended. I think it's still going in some respect. But the main host, Aniro, and one of the other guys, or maybe two of the other guys, left the show because they got like real jobs doing video game radio shit, and they couldn't have they had some kind of contract thing where they can't be on competitor shows, and so they couldn't do Limit Break Radio anymore because Limit Break Radio led to them getting a professional gig. So in that case, like, Aniro has obviously always been like, their radio showness was always something I'm jealous of and never want to do, by the way, but I'm kind of jealous of. And it's really high quality, and Aniro's got a really great radio voice, and I'm really proud of their achievement. And I think it's really cool, and I think it's really cool that they're moving on to bigger and better things. And congratulations on I think it's 13 years of Limit Break Radio. So
yeah, that's very impressive.
Yeah,
extremely. I didn't even know what a podcast was back then. Like, I had no idea. They pioneered the way, and that sucks because their podcast name was one of the ones I remember thinking of, and then we looked it up, and it's like, oh, somebody else already has it. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, maybe we could get away with using it. The answer is no, we couldn't have, but especially all these years. But yeah, great work, guys. That's awesome that they're able to move on to an actual radio gig. Thankfully, here at Ultima Final Fantasy, I mean, we're not going to let the corporate radio stations take us out of our...
That's right.
I mean, the offers are rampant in there. And my inbox is just full of, oh, hey, you want to come do that? Oh, hey, you want to do that? No. The answer is no. The answer is you don't even respond. You don't even acknowledge that. It's just like, you dare insult me? I'm not going to reply to that. I'm just going to ignore your request.
That's right.
Your $70,000 bonus, $250K a year to be your radio host. That's not what we do around here. We're here for the games.
Right.
We're here for the audience. We're here for the
bro, the purity.
Yeah, all of
purity of podcast form.
But I mean, if you guys want to do your thing, that's fine. It's nothing against you guys, but
I won't take anything less than $300K a year.
yeah, exactly. It's like, what am I, a peasant? You think I'll sell my soul for anything less?
Yeah. Do you remember? Okay, so there's the 10 elements of podcasting. It was something that's on Nude Clan right now, by the way. And it's a friend of mine. He was going to do or did a podcast. It's just about making podcasts. And he interviewed us at Nude Clan. And he was asking, this was a legitimate question from him. It was like, hey, if you guys got like a professional thing to do this professionally, I mean, would you sell out? And we immediately said, hell yeah, we would. And, still feel that way, by the way, in case anybody wants to buy us out by a large amount of money. In case anybody needs the UFF that bad.
Yeah.
I'm up for it, yeah. Feel free to give me a large sum of money in exchange for the rights to this show. Feel free.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it would depend, I guess.
But yeah, anyway, congratulations. No one can know about this. Everybody go check out that podcast. Yeah, okay, Schweiss, I think we have one more, right?
Yes.
Before Audience Maximus.
Yeah, so the 2018 best release for the Final Fantasy series. We have two nominees, both kind of BS nominees. Really light year for Final Fantasy. We have Final Fantasy Dissidia NT and Final Fantasy 15 Comrades, because it had its own separate release, thus making it count towards this category. No surprise here, based on my experience with Dissidia NT. Comrades takes the cake. Only by a little bit, though. 58% of the vote for Final Fantasy 15 Comrades and 42% for Final Fantasy Dissidia NT.
So, yeah. Comrades is a winner here. The greatest Final Fantasy game of 2018.
That's right.
Final Fantasy 15 Comrades.
I don't doubt that at all. I'll say it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm having an okay time in it. It's okay. Really keeping the tradition of Final Fantasy alive through these releases, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, shitty year for Final Fantasy. We did have at the end of 2016 a really good year, and so now we're just making sure we gotta keep things down on the DL before the series bounces back up, I guess. But
yeah, clearly. I mean, last year it was kind of light too, because we had, I think it was between Stormblood and the Final Fantasy 15 DLCs in the end, and it's just been kind of light. I mean, we were spoiled by them, quote unquote, in the beginning of the show, the beginning years. A lot of those games we haven't played yet, but
I think we've only had one good year, to be honest, during this whole show, of the 4 years, because we had a main series. But the first year we did it, Lightning Returns won. No, Lightning Returns didn't win. It was Curtain Call won.
Yeah, Curtain Call.
That.
Yep.
And it was surprising because Lightning Returns was nominated, so it's just whatever.
Yeah, also, I'd be surprised if Curtain Call's better, but we'll see.
I would be, too. I think a lot of people just didn't play Lightning Returns. Or
yeah.
Maybe the 13 hate in 2014 was heavier than it is now, which is totally the case, by the way.
It is, yeah.
I feel like our audience has lightened up on the 13 stuff.
Oh, yeah, and now they've got a 15 to be mad about,
They do have a 15 to be mad about. Which, I don't think the vitriol towards 15 is nearly as strong as it was for 13. Which is a positive. a light positive in my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, Square Enix not giving us Final Fantasy 16 news ever again, I guess. And Kingdom Hearts 3 it wasn't released, by the way. We were thinking it was released before. I think it's released tomorrow or something like that.
Yeah. It's released in Japan.
2 days.
On the 25th of January. So that's why I was seeing stuff about it being released.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm excited for that shit. Can't wait to play it in like 2.5 years for the show. So that's almost a 2018 release, but not quite. Anyway, those are our main awards. Let us get into Audience Maximus.
Let's do it.
All right. Audience Maximus, the most important award. We're going to give out 3 of them this year. And by the way, this is our last year of doing this. I just want to say thank you to all of our awesome audience members, all the ones all the previous winners of Audience Maximus and whatever the awards were for the first year we did this. So thank you for being awesome listeners. But there were 3 this year that I thought really stood out. The first one being our fourth time winner or third time winner, Shinru. Once again, takes the cake for basically being the silent third host of the show, giving us all the news that we need, keeping up on top of things, giving us good content whenever the well runs dry, and we really appreciate everything you do, Shinru.
Yeah, man, it's always a chore to do some of this stuff for the show, and you've definitely made it a lot easier over the years. It's been great having your help. I mean, good job getting us the news each week, and kind of staying active in the community through the PlayStation chat, through the forums, all of that stuff. We really appreciate the extra content, the things you bring to the reviews with your questions. There's been numerous times where I was meaning to talk about something during the review, and I forgot until a Shinru question popped up, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right, this aspect of the game. So you've saved us more times than you could know, and we appreciate it, man.
That's right. The second one that we're going to give away is to Rude Rose. Rude Rose has been a person who, throughout most of these games that no one has played and thus don't give a shit about and thus don't send us questions for, despite having not played the games themselves, Rude Rose has given us questions for almost all of those games and has cared to keep the show going in that respect. So with that being said, thank you, Rude Rose. You deserve an Audience Maximus this year. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. I mean, especially because, even classically when we were talking about expanding the show, one of the worries about doing that was these later years, these latter days, of ours being less impactful and the show getting smaller and us having no listener interaction, thus a lower drive to play the games, and that's hasn't happened whatsoever, and it's because of stuff like this. Guys like you, sure, we still have a ton of people listening to the show. That's not gone away at all in the last few years. 15 had a lot of big moments when we released our reviews of that. Understandably so, but it's still gone strong, and I think it's gone strong because of guys like you. Guys and or girls, I'm not sure. It's funny because the name is actually Rude Rose, but you tack that E on every time.
Rude, R-U-D, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, I would say that as rude. Rud would be 2 Ds.
Yeah. I don't know. Either way, though.
The U sound.
A lot of great content, especially like Joe said, for these games that no one has or will ever play for the show. Again, it kind of gets the ball rolling on some of those aspects of the game that we may have forgotten otherwise. And we really love the We love the listener interaction, and you provide some really great questions for the reviews. So we really do appreciate it.
Yes. And we have one more. Is there another name for them to go by, or are we just going with it?
Just straight up the name, yeah.
All right, feel free, Schweiss. You're on this.
All right, so last and unfortunately not least, no, I'm just kidding. We have a good friend of the show, good friend of the program,
What the fuck?
Greg Troyan. I just like to give him a lot of shit.
Okay.
He's been on the show numerous times. He is the not-so-silent third host of the show at times. He's given us great episodes to fill in the gaps for certain life events that have come up throughout the years, the weddings and stuff like that. We had some great guest episodes set up with him and their review of, or their rankings of the, well, I guess it was us too, our rankings of the Distant World, or the Final Fantasy 1 and 2 soundtracks. He's come on and reviewed games that we refuse to review. We have another one in the bank that we haven't cashed out yet from that, in that same vein. Very enthusiastic about the show, very enthusiastic about the series, and an interesting take as far as the games go for the most part. And another person that just has a good voice for podcasting. It's always enjoyable, and I love the Lipstick Panel style of rankings. Like that's become my thing now. Is just to rank, like I'm doing a Big Four listen through for thrash metal, and I'm like doing a lipstick style ranking for each of the band's albums as I go along. So it's kind of changed the way I look at rankings, and he's been a great host on the show, and also a great guest on the show. So yeah,
the winner for best guest, by the way, is the Lipstick Panel as well.
Oh yes,
not just Audience Maximus. Is there anybody else, Schweiss?
I would also nominate and give one to Angry Ass Black Dude from California. He sent us copies of Final Fantasy 6 and 4 on the Super Nintendo, or I guess Super Famicom. They're Japanese cartridges. It's a super cool gift. It was kind of in tandem with Nude Clan gifts that he had sent out, but he specifically wrote that these were intended to be for Ultima and for you and I, and they're really impressive. It's super cool. I'm pretty sure obviously they're in Japanese because it's the Famicom and not the Super Nintendo, but I mean, if you want to try to play Final Fantasy 4 or 6 on that Retron of yours in Japanese, you can. It's available now.
Yeah. Let's do it. All right, so 4 Audience Maximuses to give out. Schweiss, I think that's it for our awards. I think that's it.
Yeah, another great year. Excuse me, like Joe said,
the last full year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because this year's going to be a partial year. We're going to beat these games sometime in between late March and early May. where it depends on how certain factors weigh out, like if Schweiss actually ever plays Final Fantasy 15 Comrades.
That is up in the air.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Schweiss is going to have a child here soon, and we got to get the show out of it. We got to lessen the burden on a new father of a newborn, and also the show is going to be wrapping up at its weekly content at the end of May as well. So it's going to be we're ending the show from here on out basically, and we're just entering a whole new phase, a whole new world.
Yeah, a whole new dormant phase. So get excited for that. Excited for dormancy.
We'll still play the games. There's not honestly that many left after we're done with the show, and it's just like the Mana series, some ancillary games, and then the Kingdom Hearts series, and then some other ancillary games, and then we're done.
Yeah,
right?
Kingdom Hearts will be big, but yeah, it's not
Kingdom
too
Hearts will
much.
be a lot of fun.
Not too much.
No, not at all. But yeah, guys, you can check us out at ultimafinalfantasy.com. You can check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ultimafinalfantasy, facebook.com/ultimafinalfantasy. You can support the show if you want by clicking through our Patreon link on our website or through the Amazon link and purchasing stuff, and we get a small kickback for that. If you want, you can follow me on Twitter, or now that I have actually pictures on Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram at Joseph DeGolier. That's DEGOLYER.
You can tweet me and follow me at UFF Podcast. I don't have Instagram because I'm not a loser, but...
Dude,
yeah,
everybody that I'm meeting out here uses Instagram over Facebook.
Yeah.
And, I gave in. I was like, okay, I'm going to put some of my old photography on here. And it'll, like, auto-post to Facebook, so it's just kind of replacing my Facebook, but... I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I get you. I don't like having a third social media thing. Like, I was barely getting by with 2. But, whatever.
Why can't people just use Twitter? It's better.
I know, Twitter is the best. Twitter is everything that Facebook and Instagram are. It's just better.
Yeah. I mean, no one takes as many pictures of their dinner on Twitter. It still happens occasionally, though.
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, check us out there. You can check out our other shows. I have a Godzilla podcast called The Godzilla Podcast.
Yeah, I have a Game of Thrones podcast titled For a Few Chickens More, a song of Schweiss and Johnson.
That's right. And,
new episodes coming eventually.
The Nude Clan. Once upon a time, I was on that show. Now I am not, but it's still an amazing show, and you should go check that out. Schweiss is still on that show, of course. It's his baby. But yeah, guys, this was fun. We'll see if we can get done with Comrades in a decent amount of time. Don't know how long the game is, so we'll get to it. And I don't have anything else, Schweiss. You have anything?
No, man. Thanks for all the great years, and looking forward to knocking out the rest of these games, seeing what the Final Fantasy series has to offer. It's funny because a lot of the more recent games are the ones that are coming up as far as like the side projects. Now we got the Comrades, we got Dissidia NT, Explorers, World Final Fantasy, all since the show came out, and we're finally going to actually get a sense for what knockoff Final Fantasy is now, as opposed to 10 years ago when it was awful in its Wii controls. So I'm excited to see what the series has to offer. So stay with us, play the games with us if you haven't, and we will see you guys again next week. Enjoy the grind.